안녕하세요. Hello, this is Serena. Welcome back to Fantastic Korean Dishes, where we cook up simple but delicious Korean meals. Today, we're going to be making Jeyuk Bokkeum, or also known as spicy pork stir fry. Some people call it the spicy pork bulgogi simply because the meat is thinly sliced and it's stir fried with some vegetables. Jeyuk Bokkeum is a classic in Korean cuisine, and it's really easy to find in pretty much any Korean restaurant. And now we can cook it at home. So let me share with you my simple but delicious recipe for Jeyuk Bokkeum. Let's get cooking. So first you're going to want to prep your meat. So here I have 400 grams of thinly sliced pork. Now I got this sliced at the supermarket, but in the case that you don't, or you just somehow can't get it sliced there, what you can do is put the pork inside the freezer for about an hour, and then it's going to be a little bit more solid, and then you can slice it with your knife. But these are thinly sliced, and I've pretty much drained the blood from the meat, and that's going to take out or take away the sort of gamey, meaty flavor or meaty smell from the meat. So I've done that. But what you can do also is just take a paper towel and just dab like this. And as you can see, you'll see bits of blood coming out. So I'm just going to let the pork drain a little bit more, and while I do that, I'm going to cut up the vegetables. You're going to need half an onion, thinly sliced. So even though onions don't seem like one of the main ingredients, later when you eat Jeyuk Bokkeum, you'll realize that onions add so much flavor, and they have such an incredible texture, and also it brings out the sweetness of the Jeyuk Bokkeum. It's good to have a lot of onions in this recipe. Next, we're going to need a whole green pepper and half of a red pepper, and that's just going to add more kick to this recipe. And what you want to do is slice it thinly, just like the onions, but on a diagonal, so you get a little bit more length. Next, you're going to need one entire green pepper. So the green and the red is just going to add a splash of color, and it's also going to make it a lot spicier. Next, you're going to need one Asian leek. If you can't find Asian leeks, you can use green onions or scallions, but try to get bigger ones if possible. And same thing, we're going to just slice this up diagonally and slice them nice and thin. So it should look something like this. So Asian leeks, green onions, garlic, onions, ginger, all these things are really good at taking away some of that gamey flavor. Next, we're going to need some green onions. If you're already using green onions instead of the leeks, just save a little bit to the side, because this is going to add a little bit more of a splash of color into the food, because the base is gochujang or red pepper paste. It's going to be very red, so we want to add a little bit more green. So we're going to use this as garnish, and we're just going to thinly slice them, and then we're going to sprinkle it on top at the very end. Next, we're going to make our seasoning for our Jeyuk Bokkeum, and our star ingredient is gochujang. So we're going to need 3 tablespoons of red chili paste or red pepper paste. And it is a traditional seasoning that everyone must have if you are interested in cooking Korean food. So gochujang contains fermented soybeans. It also contains red pepper flakes, so it's very spicy. But they also add in like glutinous rice flour to really add that thickness to it. So it's in a lot of Korean dishes, including tteokbokki and Jeyuk Bokkeum. This is like the main ingredient in this dish. Next up, you're going to need some red pepper flakes. So we need exactly 3 tablespoons. So in Korean cuisine, we use a lot of chili peppers. So the green peppers are not ripe yet, and the red peppers are fully ripe. So how you make Korean pepper flakes is you dry the chili peppers, and once they're dried, we grind them into flakes. And you can get them pretty much at any Korean supermarket. It is a staple seasoning as well. Next, we're gonna put in some soy sauce, 1.5 tablespoons, and that's just gonna add the saltiness. And we're gonna need 2 tablespoons of sugar or a sweetener of your choice. Next, you're gonna need some ginger juice, and we're gonna put in 3 tablespoons of this. For those of you who are curious how I made this, I basically peeled some ginger, chopped it up coarsely, and then poured in equal amount of water and just really massage the ginger into the water, and eventually you'll get this beautiful yellow juice. And I add this into any dishes that have a lot of pork or any other meat, and it really just helps with getting rid of some of that meaty flavor, and then also adds wonderful, wonderful aroma to it too. So we're going to put in 3 tablespoons of ginger juice. I love the smell of ginger. Okay. Next, we're going to put in 1 tablespoon of minced garlic, and then 1 or 2 pinches of black pepper. And we're going to mix that all up, and I'm going to use a spatula just to make sure I really get that sugar to melt and dissolve. Okay, that looks good. I'm going to give it a taste. Perfect. That's good, really good. Now we're going to put in the pork and marinate it. To do that, I'm going to use a plastic glove simply because we're touching raw pork, and also because the seasoning is very, very spicy. And I find that whenever I'm like chopping red pepper or any type of spicy chili pepper, and then I wash my hands, I can still smell the spice on it. And I wear contacts, and it's stung my eyes many, many times. So we're just going to put in the pork, and now we're going to give it a good massage. Because it's thinly sliced, sometimes the layers stick together, so you just have to make sure that you sort of pull them apart and make sure that the sauce is distributed evenly. And if you're not into pork, you can change up this recipe with another meat like chicken, and then you'll end up with something called 닭갈비, which is also a very popular dish here. Okay, we're all done. Take these gloves off. And we're gonna first stir fry the vegetables, and then we're gonna cook the meat and put it all together. So now we're gonna cook everything, but if you search online for Jeyuk Bokkeum recipes, you'll find that a lot of times they tell you to cook the vegetables and meat together right from the get-go. But I like to cook them separately first, just so that it reduces the chance of overcooking the vegetables. And also in terms of presentation, it just looks so much better. It also tastes really, really good. So let's start with stir frying the vegetables. I have heated my pan. We're going to put in about 2 tablespoons of grapeseed oil. And just make sure you use an oil that has a high smoke point. It doesn't necessarily have to be grapeseed oil. Okay, first we're going to put in the onions. And we're going to stir fry them really, really well. And just keep on moving them so that they cook evenly. And you're going to do this until it becomes golden brown. Oh, it smells so good already. Okay, they're starting to turn golden and a little bit translucent. That's when you know it's time to put the next ingredient in. Okay, we're going to put all the peppers in together. So the green peppers, the red peppers. Oh, that smells amazing. That smells incredible. And we just put in 2 ingredients. And then we're going to add the Asian leeks. Oh, this looks so good. I could eat this right now. Okay, we're going to put this aside. We've got a few stubborn pieces. Okay, now using the same pan, we're gonna cook the pork. Now with the pork, it already has the fat in it, so we're not gonna add extra oil. You hear that sizzle? And because it contains gochujang or red pepper paste, it can burn easily. So what you wanna do is really just keep on moving the meat. I like to use a spoon and chopsticks for this. And if you find that it is burning a little bit, just bring down the heat just a little bit, because we really want to thoroughly cook the pork. This smells amazing, very spicy. Make sure you don't breathe in too deeply. Okay, now we're going to add in the vegetables. We're not going to cook it for too long. We're just going to mix everything together. See, if you cook it this way, it really maintains the color of the vegetables. And finally, right before you're done, we're gonna add in the green onions for garnish and also a little bit of flavor. You wanna put them in at the very, very end though. Okay, we're gonna plate this. Look at that. How amazing does that look? And last but not least, we're gonna sprinkle a little bit of sesame seeds right on top, and that's just gonna make the dish look even more delicious. Oh my goodness, look at that. This is a work of art. Voila, we are done. I can't wait to eat this. I'm gonna give it a taste while it's hot. So one of my favorite ways of eating Jeyuk Bokkeum is with sam. Don't forget the onions. The onions are so good. We're gonna take a little bit of rice. Now, if you can take spice, I have some sliced garlic. I'm just gonna take a little bit of samjang and take a small slice of raw green chili pepper and put it on top. And you have the perfect sam. Mmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm. 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 The onion is amazing. I mean, I know the pork is the star here, but also the onions are amazing because they're not too soft. They have their texture, and the pork is so tender and so soft and so yummy. Oh my gosh, this is so good. And it's nice and spicy. It's so, so good. Okay, that is it for today. I really hope you try this recipe out at home. It is so easy, but so good. And you will really, really impress anyone who loves spicy food or anyone who loves Korean food. Yeah, give it a try at home, and I will be back again with another fantastic Korean dish. Stay happy, stay healthy, and I'll see you guys soon.